welcome back. Today we are gonna watch a video called Warframe. It's a wake-up call. It's a video like a review on Warframe. And after this video, we can introduce more people in this amazing game community, okay? And this will also be our first time experience with legendary drops. And let's go.
Warframe is a wake-up call. Look, the phrases free-to-play and live service, whether by themselves or in combination with one another, don't fill players with a lot of confidence. And they shouldn't, because they become synonymous with games and studios that are under-delivering on a product and service while asking for the absolute most from their audience.
Ooh.
More time, more engagement, more money, extracting as much
More money is very real. More money.
as they possibly can while putting in the least amount of effort. Warframe is the most well-known yet under-discussed and underappreciated games in all of gaming. It's often referred to as the internet's best-kept secret, and I'm tired of it being a secret. For all intents and purposes, Warframe is the blueprint by which many of these free-to-play games and live service games should be following, but they're not. It's a game that is tirelessly supported by its developer and by its community in a way that I don't even think any other game can even replicate.
That's true. Like, so frequently we have all these developer streams. They will showcase their fashion, they will showcase their orbiter, right? And talk through ideas. I never see a game developer this close to us as players. So that's very, very cool for me. Also, as a near 10-year player of Warframe, I'm always happy to find new player. Yes, like I'm a new player. I just enjoy how warm and nice everybody is to me.
Once you guys hear about some of this stuff, it's going to blow your mind. Free-to-play and live service is supposed to be a way for developers to be able to deliver a smaller product and grow it over time.
True?
Be able to deliver a valuable service, a valuable product, and grow it while the community supports it. And that's the kind of game that Warframe is. That's what we're going to be talking about today.
And interesting enough, I think we're all supporting it voluntarily. I never feel like any moment I'm pressured to spend money.
Luckily, today's sponsor is actually the game that inspired Warframe.
Oh.
I've played World of Tanks multiple times over the years with my friends, and this is an easy suggestion to make. World of Tanks is one of the longest running free-to-play games on the market and has been actively supported for...
Is this the game inspired Warframe? For real? But all I see is tanks. Hello?
over a decade now, with over 100 million registered users, hundreds of tanks, and tons of customization, high-fidelity graphics, incredible sound...
Wait, is this like a community meme saying? It's just a sponsorship.
...design, and hundreds of hours of gameplay. The extensive arsenal includes tank destroyers, artillery, light, medium, and heavy tanks, providing you with a wide range of options for different combat strategies. It's a free-to-play game that brings you massive battles with a huge variety of tanks. Whether you're charging in guns blazing or sneaking up on enemies, there's always a new way to play. And here's the best part. New players will get an amazing deal using the invite code COMBAT and the link in the description below.
Amazing.
You get a Cromwell B Tier 6 British Premium tank, 250,000 credits, and 7 days of premium access. Plus, you'll get to try out 3 other Tier 6 tanks for 10 battles each. Just use the link in the description below to get started. So what is Warframe? It's a looter shooter, live service MMO with a third-person perspective. You play as a Warframe, you're dashing through levels, taking down enemies, farming them.
And I cannot say enough how many times how beautiful this game is. If you have an epic PC and you turn everything to highest graphic, you are in a treat in Warframe. Every scenario is like a movie, for real.
Materials, currency, and other items so that you can continue to build more weapons and more Warframes to use. Warframes vary in their looks and abilities. Some of them play like a ninja, others like a battering ram or even a wizard. There's even a frame that lets you create your own music so that you can buff other players. You have pets, ships, clans, PvP, personal housing, boss fights, a roguelike, a fighting game.
And you got dogs!
Open worlds, and more. It has consistently stayed in the top 20 of the most played games on Steam for over a decade now, and in doing that, there is something inherently special here. If we look at the game's player base on Steam, while it's not burning the world down with insane peaks...
Is it increasing slowly? I think it's increasing, it's going upward. That's a good thing.
It's maintained its player base consistently since 2013, and it's only continued to grow. So how has Warframe maintained that success? Why is nobody talking about it? And unlike many other live service games, why aren't we hearing people complaining about it or how it mistreats its players? Well,
I think they are growing It's because of Rebecca. It's because how much heart she has in here.
Answer that, we need to understand the game's history and that of its creators.
Yeah.
Now, you may recognize the name Digital Extremes. Renowned for their early work on Unreal Tournament in partnership with Epic Games, they played a pivotal role in shaping the landscape of multiplayer first-person shooters. They were among the first to popularize key features like online multiplayer,
This is not Warframe, right? What is this game I'm watching right here?
power weapons, team deathmatch, and capture the flag, laying the ground for
Ooh.
many of the multiplayer games that we play today. After parting ways with Epic Games, as Epic went on to make Gears of War with Xbox Studios, they decided to pitch their own game.
It's right here. It's the old Warframe. Oh, this is a very green Warframe I was talking about. So the little piece we saw earlier is Unreal Tournament 2004.
Game idea, and they tried to do it for over a decade. That game was called Dark Sector. They struggled to find a publisher for this dark sci-fi MMO concept that they had, and ultimately Digital Extremes was forced into doing work for hire just to be able to keep the company afloat.
Oh,
The decision to take on work for hire projects, while necessary for financial stability, came with its own difficulties. The studio faced a cycle of hiring employees for specific projects and then laying them off once that project concluded. Practice is commonplace for work for hire studios. However, it disrupted the lives of their employees and their families, a situation that the studio founder has regretted since then. He believed that publishers often lacked a clear vision, and that Digital Extremes would have been better off just focusing on smaller, self-controlled projects, as
I
seen with
see.
independent studios that tend to produce higher quality work when they're given full creative control.
that's an amazing vision. That's where lead Warframe to nowadays. Oh, good decision. What a man.
Despite the continuous efforts to pitch Dark Sector to publishers, the studio continued to face rejection, primarily due to a lack of interest when it came to sci-fi games on the side of publishers, a sentiment that somehow never even changed even with the success of Halo. In a desperate move, Digital Extremes caved to a publisher's demands, shifting Dark Sector from a sci-fi MMO to a game that emulated the success of Resident Evil 4 at the time.
How? How do we from sci-fi MMO to Resident Evil 4? By adding horror? There is no horror in Warframe. How?
This change involved transforming the protagonist from a space ninja to a CIA operative named Hayden Tenno, which strayed very far from the original concept.
Hayden Tenno. It still have Tenno in the name though.
The new version of Dark Sector struggled to be able to find an audience. However, it eventually did and gained respectable reviews as well. After the release of Dark Sector, the industry started to trend away from AA releases to AAA games, and this made for more issues at Digital Extremes. The studio, which had previously worked on BioShock's
Did this Dark Sector really sell well? Is it free?
multiplayer and The Darkness 2, found itself struggling to find any contracts as they began to dry up and publishers wanted to start making games in-house. Observing the success of free-to-play games like World of Tanks in 2010, Digital Extremes saw an opportunity in an emerging market. They didn't see free-to-play as a way to be able to milk players. They recognized and saw the potential to be able to create something smaller and grow the game over time rather than trying to pursue a traditional release. Facing imminent financial collapse with only 12 months of funds remaining, Digital Extremes decided to pursue a long-held vision for what used to be Dark Sector, and then was now codenamed Lotus. Within 2 months, they
Lotus?
developed a working demo featuring spaceship
Mom?
raids and procedurally generated loot and layouts with an emphasis on co-op and PvE gameplay, recognizing there was a gap in the market. They
Amazing.
approached free-to-play publishers asking for support, but they were getting rejected yet again.
Oh, no.
Undeterred, Digital Extremes decided to self-fund the project with only 9 months of funds remaining.
Oh,
Wanting
that's so stressful. I would be so anxious on that moment. It's like counting down. And everyone is rejecting you.
to give it their all rather than simply just walk away. The development of the alpha version of the game saw significant involvement from Rebecca Ford, an intern who led the creation of their community team. This team was crucial in gathering and responding to player feedback, a strategy that helped shape the game's development and ultimately its success.
Yeah, and they're still doing that right now, which is fantastic. Also, luckily, a game being born is better to see a baby being born. You know, I have always this thing that I say, sex is so amazing. Sex is so amazing, yet the result we make in there, you know, yeah, it's a lot of responsibility, but that's so off topic.
Embracing the success of Kickstarter campaigns that were going on at the time, Digital Extremes introduced supporter packs to raise additional funds. This approach, while initially slow, proved ultimately effective and demonstrated that there was an audience for their game. Thus, Warframe was born, a game over a decade in the making, who had faith in itself.
The baby is born. The Warframe baby is born.
Scorned by an industry, nobody else wanted to make it except for them. It released into beta on Steam in 2000.
Why is it so great?
2013 to over 20,000 players and has only continued to grow since. Over the years, I've come to realize that the vast majority of the studios that we grew up loving, the games that we grew up loving, the biggest studios and publishers that are out there all came from very similar humble beginnings.
True.
The vast majority of them forgot about it.
Apparently, a lot of people all come from a little bit troubling beginning. Success doesn't come from all smooth land and easygoing, I guess.
And the ones that don't end up being the ones that are the most loved and appreciated. Look at Larian Studios. Their story is almost identical to Digital Extremes. They started off making their own games to limited success. They did work for hire for a while just to be able to keep the doors open. When that industry started to dry up and move away, they went to go make their own game in Divinity Original Sin. They danced with bankruptcy, almost losing the entire studio, but they found an audience that wanted to support it, and now look at them. Baldur's Gate 3 is heralded as one of the greatest games of all time.
They made Baldur's Gate 3! They won the Game Award, isn't it? That's so amazing! I don't know, listen to all this wonderful story giving me such a good positive vibe.
Blew up, as they deserve to do so. When I look around the industry right now, I see a lot of studios that are making games not because they want to make them, but because they're profit motivated.
True.
Purely.
Especially with very gigantic IPs. They're just using your nostalgic to make new games, yet I don't see any soul in them.
Profit motivated. They no longer look at players as anything other than tools for making money. And that's
We're just numbers. We're numbers and they only care about our wallet.
Rather than looking at them for what they actually are, which is a means to be able to deliver a higher quality product, use their feedback and their information to be able to earn their money, and then by extension, make your game even that more popular.
True.
Because when players are happy, they tend to talk about it a heck of a lot more.
Like what we are doing right now. Why am I watching this? Is because I want to talk about Warframe and share it with people they like it and make more people play it with us. That's it.
And I've also noticed that, you know, games are a form of art. And without soul, there is no art.
Yeah.
And in the case of games, I think a lot of players are starting to wake up and realize they can see it in your trailers, they can see it in your gameplay, they can see it when the soul isn't there.
You can see it in the trailer. That's so real. There's so many games nowadays. You watch the trailer, you will just go, it's another one of this. Okay, I guess. Maybe I will buy it. Maybe I will wait for it to sell.
And when they know it's there and they see it's there, they're into that game. But when they don't see it, they don't want to have anything to do with it. And I think that's why we've seen a lot of games over the last few years fail. Digital Extremes started out with great intentions, to be honest with you. But that doesn't mean that they didn't make the same mistakes that many other free-to-play and live service games make time and time again. And that's with its monetization. But the difference is they learn from their mistakes.
But I worry for them. I feel like they should charge. They should give more opportunity to charge people. I don't know. I played the game for, like I said, for 2 years. So I'm worried for DE. Like, why not? I feel like I have to buy something.
I don't think anybody can
even the battle pass is free.
Disagree with this.
Okay, I'm not complaining although. Not complaining. It's a good thing. But I just want the company to continue to survive as well, right?
Recently, over the last few years, both live service and free-to-play games have permeated through every space in the entire gaming industry. Every single company wants their Fortnite, Counter-Strike, Genshin Impact, whatever it might be, and of course they would, because they draw in revenues that would make you wonder why anybody would ever want to make another full-priced game again. But with the introduction of free-to-play live service games, we've seen year over year, month over month, players are losing ground, losing choice, and losing their money.
But Warframe is not. They're always pushing new plot, which is amazing. You buy Warframe stuff whatever chance I got. Yeah, that's a good mindset. They also make games like as long as you can afford it to help.
free-to-play has become synonymous with cutting content and player achievement and putting a price tag on it. While the gameplay itself is free, the model has incentivized developers to paywall everything in the game or put in absurd time restrictions and hurdles for players to be able to overcome just so they can try to earn anything with their own time or their own skill.
Yes, like those point or time system in gacha, you can only do 10 events a day. If you wanna do more, you gotta pay for it, right? That's how free-to-play game get you, hook you in with the plot and a hot anime girl, and then make you pay for them.
Studios today are incentivized to actively harm the player experience and lower the quality of the overall product, all in the name of higher profits. Digital Extremes was incredibly nervous about getting into free-to-play because they were afraid that they were going to do it wrong, and in fact, they did. At first, they started selling power, and it wasn't the reputation that they wanted to create for themselves. At the creation of Warframe, you could double the capacity of mod or skill tree slots in your Warframes. However, there was no way to be able to earn this in-game, and the only way that you could get it was by paying for it with real money.
I see.
Early on, before the game's beta release, Digital Extremes saw the players' feedback regarding this issue and removed it and any other perceived pay-for-power microtransactions.
Oh, they just removed it! What about people that bought it?
Allowing for fair monetization to be a core tenet of the studio moving forward. In that move, and other changes that they made due to their deep involvement in the early foundations of their games community, they fostered a positive community spirit and gained even more support.
That's huge. You know, chat, it's easy to make a decision. I mean, okay, it's not easy to make a decision. It's easier to make a decision. It's much harder to destroy it.
In an interview 6 years ago with Danny O'Dwyer of No Clip Documentaries, they mentioned how difficult it was for them to be able to find any marketing or visibility because at the time, nobody wanted to touch free-to-play games.
Why not?
However, the positive community that they had already started to culture, the fact that they had been listening to their community, ended up catching the attention of the late great commentator Total Biscuit, who came to cover the game and catapult its popularity into the mainstream. I think that this is one of the most valuable lessons for Digital Extremes or any company to learn, and it's that good things happen to good developers, especially those who treat their players as well as Digital Extremes and listens to their feedback. Game developers large and small need to recognize that they are providing a product and service to us, not the other way around. The expectation is on them to create a fun, fair, entertaining, and valuable experience in exchange for our money.
That's true, but nowadays it's like they're expecting us to like the game or pay for the game. If we fail their expectations, they will be like, what the fuck? It's completely different somehow as time progressing now. Wait, we have to make something worthwhile for people to give us money? Wait, we cannot just take their money for free?
I see game developers posting on Reddit talking about how they hate gamers because of YouTube live stream comments, or how a lead Starfield developer makes a Twitter thread saying, funny how disconnected some players are from the realities of game development, and yet...
But I play your game, why do I need to connect to your game development?
They speak with complete authority. I mean, I can guess what it takes to make a Hostess Twinkie, but I don't work in the factory, so what the hell do I know, really?
That's what I'm saying! Don't know why do I need to know coding or how expensive it is. I'm just paying for the game and the result.
A lot. And neither of these opinions that these people have are in the minority of opinions. With what authority do players speak? With their money. They are your paying customers. Paying customers.
Yeah.
While players may not know exactly how to voice their concerns, and oftentimes will do it in the wrong way, you still should be listening to them because they are telling you that something is wrong with your game. And at the end of the day, all they want is a better product, which only serves to make you more money in the end.
Exactly. If your bacon is tasty, we will come back for more bacon and take my money because I always want and need more bacon. Right? It's like I'm in here to buy, I don't care about animal. Another thing is a lot of games nowadays looks so good. Amazing graphic. Like days ago, Schedule 1. One person made Schedule 1 and that is a very fun game.
We've seen developers stray from the side of players. However, how many developers have you seen remove a microtransaction from their game because players were using it too much? When
Oh,
Warframe introduced colors for their pet skins, they didn't realize that they had inadvertently created a gambling mechanic where players
they did. They keep removing their own decision. That's so admirable.
were trying to search for the rarest skin colors and the combinations that they wanted. DE saw that a player had rolled his pet's color 200 times and their stomach sank. Within a day and a half, they had removed the mechanic from the game and reworked it. Without the
Wow, that's so fast. When did this happen? When is the dog random gacha color time? Is it from a couple years ago? The graphic look pretty new.
need for player feedback. The spirit of that can be found throughout the entire game. As of a recent update, now everything in the game, just about everything in the game, is earnable in-game with very few outliers.
True.
Warframe uses platinum as its in-game premium currency, and it's
Even though it has like an in-game currency, I start to buy things because I just want to look prettier. So that's the only reason I spend money. But for the base game function, I don't see a reason to spend money. Like, as long as I put time in there, nothing is like 0.000003 chance to get. Amazing they have integrity in today's world, and the economy is like Helldiver 2. You can earn every single thing in-game. True.
fully tradable. Players can go out, farm valuable resources, mods, weapons, and Warframe blueprints, and then trade with other players without ever even spending a dime. You would think that this is trapped behind some type of end game progression or something, right? No, you can start doing this within the first 15 to 20 hours of playing the game. I was already trading items with other players and stockpiling currency from the minute that I had started.
Me too. The first thing I learned about Warframe trading is everyone asking me for ammo drama. Everyone wanna help me and trade with me, and I ask what can I give, right? When I just start the game, people keep saying ammo drama, ammo drama. That's what I learned.
Players still have the option to buy anything that they want from the game's in-game shop. All of those things, or at least the vast majority of them outside of cosmetics and color palettes, can be earned in-game. So, Mr. YouTuber, that means that Warframe must have the most difficult and high-end equipment behind paywalls or something, right? It has to be insanely difficult to get. No. The pinnacle Warframes and weapons are called primes. You can earn these by cracking relics, and you get relics constantly while you're playing the game. When you go to do these missions to crack the relics, you're playing with 4 players, and all 4 of you can choose to use the exact same relic, which would...
I know, and it's not very difficult to get Prime at all. Prime is easier to get than normal a lot of times. True, true.
then increase your chances of being able to get what you wanted, because everybody can choose from everyone else's rewards. Meaning that even if you're in a party that isn't coordinated and you're all running different relics, if you don't get what you want out of yours, you can just get a copy of somebody else's thing if it's more valuable.
And yeah, and then you can trade it, and then you can trade for another thing that you actually want. It's a healthy system.
You can choose to get whatever you want. Every weapon, every frame, companion, and otherwise is at your fingertips. You can earn your way through Warframe without ever even spending a dime, and many players have. There is no time wasting in Warframe. And what's even more crazy,
there is no time wasting and no time limiting. You can always be playing and grinding and getting things done.
is that adding to this absurdity, they show players how not to spend money within their premium shop. If you go to their premium shop and look at any of the items available in it, next to every item, it tells you how to go earn that item in-game rather than spending money. They teach players.
I don't even know this part. I never read this. Wait, that's new to me.
How not to spend money in their shop.
Ah.
But that doesn't mean that players don't support the game. In fact, they do quite a lot, because by making things so accessible, giving massive discounts on their currency and things like that, being able to just get all the things that you want in the game by playing it, players just want to spend money on the game.
Exactly. I have a question, like for chat. What do you spend money on? Do you actually buy things to make your frame stronger and stuff? Or just for aesthetic? Skins mostly, skins as well. Sometimes you buy Prime.
Because they want to support it, because they love the game so much, not because they feel like they need to. Imagine that. Imagine a world in which the players are not spending money on a game because they need to overcome some fabricated barrier that's put in place, and if they spend money, they're going to be able to get through it faster or get through it at all. No, instead, they're spending money because they actually want to support the game. They just are enjoying themselves and want to spend the money. No.
Yeah, because we enjoy ourselves, we enjoy the community, and then we want to look prettier in front of our friend.
Mind you, some of this is definitely driven by convenience, but the vast majority of players just love the game and want to support it.
Yes.
That's not to say that there aren't areas worth criticizing. I'm still not a fan of the fact of them having 12 to 72 hour crafting timers.
That's the thing I want to complain too. Sometimes I craft something, I totally forgot 72 hours later that I made a frame because it's so long.
Weapons and warframes, it's just too much. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just too much. And also there's a big limitation on the amount of weapon and warframe slots, inventory slots that are available early on for players. That's something that in general just needs to get fixed. But
that's kind of true.
The thing is that the longer you play the game, the less those things become an issue because you have so many other things that you're working on, leveling up, playing as, farming for, while all these other things are building in the background that you really don't even notice it all that much. And while there's room for improvement, this is largely the most ethical live service game I've ever seen monetized. And I don't think any other game wants to try to compete on those terms. They definitely don't want to compete on their content. Warframe's first turning point came when the game released on Steam, which marked a critical success and provided the studio with the necessary resources to be able to continue to support and develop the game. Unlike competitive shooters that can maintain an audience with minimal updates, Warframe faced the challenge of sustaining interest in a PvE-centric game, which is far more difficult. To overcome this, Digital Extremes heavily leaned on the experienced development team who had weathered the storm through the toughest times and possessed the deep institutional knowledge that was necessary to make the game successful. If it wasn't for the fact that they held on to their...
So the experienced team, what is that? Is that the team led by Rebecca?
Their employees, when the game and the studio was facing its closure, they likely would have never been able to make the game the success that it is today. In the years following the game's release on Steam, Warframe saw a rapid expansion in content. The studio introduced clans, player hubs, a plethora of new weapons and warframes, and diverse gameplay elements like open-world areas, vehicles, and space combat. But the most significant shift in the game's identity came with the release of The Second Dream, a cinematic quest that redefined Warframe as a game. This quest introduced fully voice-acted, high-quality cinematic experiences with...
I know! Like every new Warframe update, the quality is beyond my expectation for a free-to-play game. It's always cinematic, epic graphic,
intricate writing and storytelling that elevated the game from a compelling free-to-play title to a truly exceptional experience. No longer was Warframe just a free-to-play game, it was just a great game that happened to be free-to-play.
True.
Digital Extremes continued to push boundaries with subsequent updates, including the new war, Whispers in the Walls, and the upcoming major update, Warframe 1999. These expansions demonstrate a level of writing, character development, and cinematic quality that's typically...
And the lures. Actually, they are making the characters and the universe richer, rather than, oh, we are just celebrating a fire festival. The lore of 1999 character is crazy. Yeah, and the simple conversation is awesome. True. And the system they're introducing, the PC, the old dialogue, the dating, I just never expected to happen.
Associated with AAA blockbuster titles and reflect nothing of what we've seen in typical free-to-play games. The studio's ambition to deliver high-end content remained evident with every release, further increasing the game's reputation among players both new and old. That's what I'm talking about. A couple days ago when we watched all the Warframe Prime trailer, I was telling people to introduce what is Warframe. I was like, oh, okay, we are space ninja, we also can do spy mission, but we can also ride a horse, ride a gigantic spaceship, and play an instrument. Made the Warframe that we have today. One of the systems I was the most shocked by was at one point I unlocked what I can best describe as Sea of Thieves in space. You get a railjack, a fully customizable ship that you can upgrade. It has multiple weapons that are controlled by other players in co-op. You hire NPCs to manage the ship. You fight other ships. You can board other ships, steal other ships, and raid enemy bases. While the feature didn't land...
And yeah, we also have the dojo. Yes. You can also customize a community place shared with your friend and decorate it together.
Well, on release, and it had its issues, what is available today is an absolute blast to play, and it feels like it's completely native to the game, and like it could have been there from the start.
True, every little bit really makes sense to exist.
In the landscape of live service and free-to-play games, many developers opt for the safe approach, focusing on incremental updates and minor changes rather than undertaking any significant overhaul. This safe strategy often results in steady, gradual improvements, but most major additions and transformative changes end up being locked behind paid expansions, premium content, and microtransactions.
Kind of true, kind of sad. Somehow I think gacha is also changing that.
Typically, free-to-play games and live service games will introduce minor tweaks, seasonal updates, and limited time offers to try to keep players engaged. But Warframe does the exact same thing. They aren't strangers to making big splashes with major updates, and all the while, they're not charging the players a dime. Other games with standard offerings can sometimes refresh the experience and provide new incentives to be able to log in, but they rarely bring the wide-sweeping changes that might significantly alter the gameplay or narrative, making the game overall feel more stale. I'll give kudos to games like Fortnite, who often radically change their map, put in new modes, and give more ways for players to be able to express themselves in games, like even creating their own games within Fortnite. However, the vast majority of games don't do this, and in combination with that lack of risk, they often let go of the developers that got them to where they are in the first place, ignoring the players that got them to where they are in the first place. And as a result, they hollow out their experience, leaving them with nowhere to go. There's too much focus on monetization, and it's leading to a disparity between the expectations of the player and the financial outlook of the developer. Today, we have developers that are understaffed, underpaid, under a lot of pressure, under-delivering to their audience, while for some odd reason, the company is still expecting more money. You have CEOs that are out there projecting growing profit without investing in growing content. And their expectation is because you're playing, then you must be paying, and I'm sick of it. Look, just recently I saw with Apex Legends, the big drama that cropped up around it, where basically, long story short, developer goes in and makes it where you can no longer earn the next battle pass by completing the last battle pass, where previously you were able to. And they made these changes, gaslighting the players, saying that it's because we're trying to deliver you guys a more valuable experience. We're doing it because we're trying to grow the game.
Yeah, we're doing it for you. That's such typical gaslighter.
And we're giving you guys more value. That's really what it is. When anybody with any base level of intelligence can see how insulting it is to say something like that when it's so transparently not that. And they're not the only developer doing things like that. You see it across the board. So many developers that are making minor changes to their game, but all of their focus is on their monetization. How else they can shift and move things around to make it where they can make more money and you get less out of playing the game.
Unfortunately, it's like they want more money, and the more money they take, the lesser labor force they put in, and the less content we got. It's just how the system works, right? If they take more money, then lesser money to pay their employee and all that, unfortunately.
And in that, the only thing that you're serving to do is make an audience that isn't loyal to you, that is just waiting, frothing at the mouth at the chance to be able to jump onto the next game and get as far away from you as they possibly can. Sure, they're playing your game right now. Sure, it's popular right now, but that's because they don't really have another option, and there's nothing else right now that's that hot. So once there is something that hot that comes out, you're done. That's it. Players are a valuable resource, and you need to value them. They provide you with everything that you need to be successful, both creatively and financially. And if you use them the appropriate way, you can be huge, you can be massive. And while that's not the truth for every single game, because every single game is different, they have a different audience, they have a different use case, not everybody plays the same kind of games. When you value them, they keep you afloat. They help you grow. And in the case of Digital Extremes and Warframe, I don't think that there's another developer that's out there that appreciates their audience the same way or does the same things that Digital Extremes does with their audience.
They can be a role model, can't they? They can be for other developer to look up to and maybe learn from. Hopefully they can be creating a positive influence because we recognize the problems as players, you and me. So there are people changing it. There are people creating solutions.
Except for baby Larian Studios. Why did you guys have to go and create a community YouTube channel? And even more so, why am I not in it? I get it. Like Luality and Co-Carnage are really cool, but like I made a lot of videos on Baldur's Gate. Come on, man. Initially, I had wondered how Warframe was able to hold on to such a consistent player base for so long. Regardless of good or bad updates, new games, or financial declines, their core audience has stayed rock solid for over a decade now. And in that, in and of itself, that is a feat that very few games have accomplished. It wasn't until I started streaming my experience over on Twitch, playing the game for the very first time, that I was exposed to the game's community, and in that, I noticed how positive they are.
Yeah, that's how I found you all, Chad. I found you all from Warframe community. You're very positive, teaching me and holding my hands, and love that I cannot read, and even though we still play together every day. Whenever I log in, there are always people asking me to join them, and I met everybody from Twitch.
Eerily similar experience I had with Final Fantasy XIV, but altogether completely different. Many players have been playing the game since alpha. They've unlocked everything in the game, effectively beaten the game, logging thousands of hours. However, they are still logging in regularly, even daily.
Yes.
They are out there guiding new players and doing things that they've done thousands of times because they...
I literally know people just doesn't log off. They're forever there on Warframe.
love the game that much, and I was curious where that comes from. Well, sure, the game has regular updates, new content, new weapons, and new Warframes. I couldn't see how Warframe could become somebody's daily driver until I saw how Digital Extremes engages with their community.
You know, Robot, once upon a time, somebody wrote me an essay on how to do a bullet jumping in chat. And they stayed with me for 3 full hours until I learned how to bullet jump, and then I forgot the second day.
Oftentimes, developers lay silent between content releases and major updates. They put their head in the sand, they let a couple people go out and respond or repost on Twitter, and only come out of hibernation to make promotional content to drive up interest around the next big update or major change. In that time of silence, I think it makes it feel like updates are further apart than they actually are. Players aren't engaged, and when they aren't engaged, they lose interest. And DE makes it really hard for you not to feel engaged as they support their community.
Because all the developer streams, they also give free loot. They also make you interact. And they also always doesn't feel like they're that far as game developers. Not very distant, even how they drive.
They're content creators rather than game developers. Every single week, they go live on YouTube and Twitch to do something they call a dev short, where Steve Sinclair, the CEO of Digital Extremes, together with Rebecca Ford, the once community manager and now creative director of Warframe, just talk to the players for 15 minutes. They answer questions, they tell them about things that they're working on, they joke around. They do this every week.
Yes, it's how they making it not so formal and it makes them feel like your friends. So you would want to complain to them and say your heart out.
What other game studios give that kind of transparency to the players? What other game companies are that grounded to make sure that their CEO of all people is constantly in contact with the players? None. And that's not all they do. Every Wednesday and Thursday, they host Prime Time over on Twitch. And each of them have their own separate streams for English and Spanish, where the developers and community managers come out to play the game with the players. Have you ever heard of anything more absurd than that? Developers actually playing their game and playing their game with players, with an audience up to 250,000 viewers, giving away skins, Twitch drops, different items, premium currencies. They tell stories, they play trivia games with chat, and they show off different community art submissions. They are more involved with their community than I think any developer ever has been, and the fruits of their labor shine so brightly. It shines in how positive their community is, how engaged they are, how well the game is developed and supported, how solid the monetization is. It's why they are allowed to take the risks with the games like they have, and even with...
That's why they stay on the top charts, and that's why they're going so well nowadays. That's why even me, as somebody so new to the game and already fall in love with it, yeah, their hardworking is very well rewarded.
Future games in development like Soulframe, the players know that they're appreciated. They know that the developer is trying to achieve something, and they can tell that they truly love what they are doing. They can clearly see that these developers love their game, and it shows. Digital Extremes recognizes what many developers have slowly started to drift away from. That players are a part of your game, and without them, your game wouldn't be what it is. And in fact, for Warframe, that's literally true. In the early days of Warframe, movement is exactly what you would have...
I think that should be true for all MMO. Isn't like all MMO are made by the players, and we should be part of the decision-making process? I just feel like, yeah, people should have a louder voice and be more valued.
Expected the game to be just a over-the-shoulder third-person shooter. It had sliding and running, but overall the movement was slow. Players discovered an exploit where they called it Zoran coptering, where they could essentially fly across maps, sling themselves across maps. And
he's talking about how bullet jumping is born. It's from a bug, isn't it? Bullet jumping origin story.
Complete missions in a fraction of the time. Instead of removing this, instead of standing against the players and changing something that the players were enjoying or doing, they recognized that the players were exploiting this because they were trying to avoid something that was actively ruining their experience. So Digital Extremes revamped the entire movement system for the game, reworking it from the ground up to be one of the most fluid movement systems in all of gaming. This video took a lot longer to record than I thought it would.
This video also take me longer to watch than I expected, chat.
Dark outside. You might actually end up hearing my cat chattering with another cat that shows up outside. This little orange cat. They just kind of talk through the window. It's adorable.
Aww, he has
Over the last
cat.
few years, I've noticed a conversation that's popped up between game developers and game journalists, and they're talking about how cold and unfeeling and how unsympathetic gamers are towards the plight of the industry, how some of these companies are failing, how games are failing, how companies are...
they're saying the game are failing because of the player are not sympathetic enough? What?
Going out of business, how people are losing their jobs, and they are absolutely right. Because at the end of the day, we are consumers, we're buying games, and if you do not make a game that we want to play and it wasn't worth our money and we wasted it on your game and you go out of business as a result of that, that's on you.
But isn't that how it works since millions years ago? In medieval time, you start to go out and sell banana. The other banana in another store is tastier. Of course, I buy the other banana. And you bankrupt and you yelling at me, be like, why don't you buy my banana? Maybe make your banana tastier. What? Why is it because I'm not empathetic enough with you? What is this mindset? Is this 2025 mindset? Am I not updated on my brain enough to follow it? Doesn't make sense to me.
You got what you got coming to you. But it didn't used to be like that. And I think the reason why is because...
And it's never be like that.
Back, and this is something that's just kind of evolved over time, is that many of the companies that are out there right now, some of the biggest companies that are out there right now, came from humble beginnings, no different than Larian Studios or Digital Extremes or anyone else that's out there. But when they were smaller, they felt like they were one of us because they were one of us. They were players that were making games because they wanted to make cool games for them to play and for other people to play. But as time went on and they got bigger and they made more money and they started selling out and literally selling out to other companies, what ended up happening is that conversation changed. That interaction that we used to have, that relationship that we used to have with the developers, that parasocial-like relationship.
It's because it's no longer direct. It's no longer me and us. I understand it's necessary, but we also say it's losing the heart and soul because of that, isn't it?
That we had started to disappear because they started talking to us through a veil of money. It was always apology letters and tweets that are just trying to manipulate the truth more than anything else. It's all gaslighting. You're not trying to help us. You're not trying to do anything for us. You're just trying to make money.
Everyone is just gaslighting us. to buy their game.
And to be honest with you, it's cowardice. It's so disgusting. Like, if you just want to make money, go make money, dog. Say you're doing it for it. I'd almost have more respect for a company that just laid their nuts out on the table and said, we're doing it because we want your money.
Aww.
Rather than trying to paint it in these colorful words to try to make it feel like they're our friends and really this is all just for you guys.
But that's sugarcoating and that's like necessary. Like a commercial. They won't just tell you the truth, be like, give me money now. They will always sugarcoat it, be like, yeah, it's all for your best and this amazing, beautiful thing will be born from your wallet.
That's not what it is. I think there's a lot to learn from a company like Digital Extremes, especially in the way that they stay connected with their audience. That level of connection brings in insane levels of endearment where the people that are playing the game just genuinely love the work that the people are doing because they like the people too. They like both things at the exact same time, and that's an awesome thing to have. My cat is freaking out.
I can't hear your cat, man. Don't freak out.
That's an awesome thing to have because players at the end of the day do want to be appreciated.
Aww.
We want to be heard.
We do.
And the more we're heard and the more we're appreciated and the more that the game is actually worth our time and money, the more likely we are to continue to invest in that game and invest in future things that you do.
I honestly, at this point, I understand his concern. I also don't think this is only game industry problem. If we say it's a problem, it's our society as a whole thing has some flaws, and it's just how corporates work. I don't want to support it or accept it, but how can I make changes, right? For my perspective, as a small individual, I would love to support digital DE more. That's what I can do to support what I believe is more real and based in my heart, like more compared to these corporates. So that's what I will do.
However, the vast majority of the industry is really doing nothing other than creating unloyal fan bases. Sure, your game might be doing okay now, but the minute that somebody else comes by, like Digital Extremes or something like that, that does the same things that they do, or better, your audience is gone. I think there's a lot to learn from this. I really do. That's the whole reason I make these wake-up call videos in the first place, is because I think there is a lot to learn from some of the best studios that are on the market, some of the best games that are on the market. There's a ton of them. There is. And I plan on doing a ton of these videos because they're a lighthouse, an opportunity for those who have drifted too far away to finally see the light, come back to land, touch grass, and find out what players like, what players really want, and how to talk to players again.
Oh,
anyway.
You said BE and Warframe are the best. I'm so happy to hear that. So proud.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching it this long. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. If you like the video and want more people to see it, throw a like on the video. Follow me on Twitch if you guys want to see me play Warframe or other games and talk about video game news and all that good stuff. Outside of that, I'm going to take off. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe, my friends, and I will see you next time. Peace.
Cool.
Again, I'd like to thank World of Tanks for sponsoring this video. Make sure to use the link in the pinned comment down below and invite code COMBAT for you to get started in World of Tanks today.
Family. And yes, we will play Warframe now. Hopefully you all have a positive feeling after watching this video with me. I like how he's really praising Warframe and recognizing the efforts of DE. Okay? And thank you for watching a video with me, and I will always see you on the next time. Alright? Smooches. Mwah.